Caitlin Clark's rise in basketball has been nothing short of spectacular. She's a force on the court, a blend of raw talent and unshakable confidence that makes her one of the most exciting players to watch. Her presence demands attention, whether it's from defenders scrambling to guard her or fans glued to their screens, eagerly waiting for her next move. But behind this star power lies a story that the WNBA would prefer you didn't see quite so clearly. It's not about what she does with the ball, but what she symbolizes to a league trying to find its footing. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Caitlin Clark didn't fit the mold the WNBA had in mind. They had their stars, their narratives, and their ideas of what the league should represent. Then Clark came along, with her fearless playing style and a personality that didn't ask for permission. She didn't care about being polished, predictable, or even liked by everyone. Her competitive fire burns in plain view, and it's part of what makes her such a compelling figure. However, the WNBA seemed cautious about embracing someone like her, a player who broke the mold in ways they hadn't quite anticipated. From the very beginning, it was clear Clark wasn't here to follow the script. On the court, she's a maestro, orchestrating plays with a vision few can match. Her ability to drain three-pointers from practically anywhere is jaw-dropping, but it's not just the shots that make her stand out. It's the way she does it, with swagger, sometimes a little smirk after a dagger from deep or a stare that says, "I'm better than you," and we both know it. She's unapologetically herself, and that doesn't always align with how the league wanted to present its players. You could say that Clark embodies a certain attitude that the WNBA wasn't fully ready for. While the league was still trying to market a more reserved, polished brand, Clark was tearing that down with every step-back three. The WNBA seemed to want players who represented athletic excellence, but did so in a way that fit their broader mission: empowerment, inspiration, and the polished hero. Clark, however, had an edge. She didn't just want to win, she wanted to destroy the competition, and she wanted you to know it. Her bravado is reminiscent of players in the NBA, where trash talk and antics are part of the culture. But in the WNBA, it wasn't yet the norm. There's a layer of discomfort in how Clark's accent forces a conversation about personality and marketability in women's basketball. The WNBA, in its push to grow the sport and expand its fan base, seemed to struggle with how to package someone like her. Her brashness on the court, her fire and sometimes in-your-face attitude, was at odds with the image they'd carefully cultivated. Clark wasn't here to play along with the league's narrative. She was rewriting her own. She didn't fit into a nice little box, and the WNBA wasn't sure how to handle it. It's not that the league didn't recognize her talent. How could they ignore it? Clark's performances were impossible to overlook. But there's a difference between acknowledging talent and fully embracing the personality that comes with it. Clark wasn't content to be just another player in the league. She brought an energy that could shift the way the game is played and marketed. But that shift also meant the league had to reconsider its approach. The WNBA's hesitation to fully embrace Clark seems to stem from a fear of losing control over the image they had built. For years, the league has pushed to expand its reach, promoting empowerment and equality, while maintaining a level of decorum that was meant to set it apart. Clark, in all her gritty glory, wasn't going to walk that line quietly. She brought intensity that was sometimes raw and unfiltered, and that's what makes her stand out. But in a league still defining itself, that unfiltered intensity could be seen as risky. In many ways, Clark represents a generational shift in basketball. Younger fans are drawn to the attitude she brings. They love the drama, the trash talk, the competitive fire. It's what makes sports exciting, and Clark delivers that in spades. The league, however, still seems caught between two worlds. On one hand, they need players like Clark to captivate a younger audience. On the other hand, they're worried about losing control of the narrative they've worked so hard to build. It's a delicate balance, and Clark is the player tipping the scales. Her story wasn't exactly what the WNBA had in mind, but it's one that couldn't be ignored. She's an undeniable talent, someone whose presence on the court is magnetic. Fans love her, not just for her skills, but for the way she plays the game. She's fearless, she's brash, and she doesn't back down. And that's where the league finds itself in a tricky position. They want the star power, but they aren't sure how to handle the edge that comes with it. Clark's rise to prominence is a testament to her work ethic and determination, but also to her willingness to be herself, no matter the consequences. She didn't soften her edges to fit in with what the WNBA wanted. Instead, she leaned into them, forcing the league to deal with the player she is, not the one they might have wanted her to be. In doing so, she's brought a new level of excitement to women's basketball. but also a new set of challenges for the league as they try to figure out how to market a player who won't conform to their expectations. Her playing style is one thing, but her personality is what really sets her apart. Clark plays with a chip on her shoulder, and that's something fans love. She's not here to make friends on the court. She's here to win, and she doesn't care who knows it. That kind of confidence, that swagger, is infectious, but it's also something that can ruffle feathers. Not everyone appreciates the way she carries herself, but that's part of the package. She's not trying to please everyone, and that's what makes her so compelling. The WNBA has always been about more than just basketball. It's a league that prides itself on being a leader in social justice and equality, and that's an important part of its identity. But with Clark, the focus shifts back to the game itself. She's not making political statements, she's making threes from half court. And that's where the WNBA finds itself in a bit of a quandary. They want to promote their players as role models and advocates, but they also need someone like Clark, who can draw in fans with her sheer basketball talent. It's a tough line to walk, and Clark's unapologetic style makes it even tougher. Clark's rise also brings into focus the way women's basketball is perceived compared to men's. The NBA has long embraced its players' personalities, with stars like LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Kevin Durant being as well known for their off-court personas as they are for their on-court play. In contrast, the WNBA has been more cautious in how it promotes its players. Clark challenges that caution with her style, forcing the league to rethink how they market stars who bring a little more attitude to the game. Caitlin Clark is exactly what women's basketball needs, whether the WNBA is ready for her or not. She brings a spark, an edge, and an excitement that the league can't afford to ignore. She's pushing the boundaries of what a women's basketball player can be, and in doing so, she's pushing the WNBA to evolve. That evolution might be uncomfortable for some, but it's necessary if the league wants to continue growing. Clark represents the future of the sport, one where talent and personality go hand in hand, and where the game is just as much about entertainment as it is about skill. The WNBA's hesitation to fully embrace Caitlin Clark speaks to a larger issue within women's sports. For years, female athletes have been held to a different standard, expected to be both elite competitors and perfect role models. Clark flips that expectation on its head. She doesn't care about fitting into the league's idea of what a WNBA star should be. She's carving out her own path, and in doing so, she's forcing the league to adapt. Whether they like it or not, the WNBA needs players like Clark, players who can transcend the game and bring in new fans. Caitlin Clark's rise is more than just a basketball story. It's a story about how the WNBA handles change, about how it adapts to a new generation of players and fans. Clark is at the forefront of that change, and her impact will be felt for years to come. The league may have tried to hide the rawness of her rise, but it's clear that they can't ignore her. She's here to stay, and she's not going to fit into anyone's box. That's the beauty of Caitlin Clark. She's breaking the mold, and in doing so, she's making women's basketball more exciting than ever before. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.